Hello, Manitoba. I'm Larry McIntosh, and I'll be your host for the next hour. I want to let you know that Peak of the Market has a recipe email service. You can sign up to receive free email recipes daily or once a week. Just go to peakmarket.com and click on Email Recipes. The system will ask for your email address, province you're from, and how often you wish to receive recipes. It's that simple, and you can unsubscribe at any time. Now, if you're like me and you worry about signing up for something and getting lots of junk emails, I can guarantee you we do not share our email addresses with anyone ever. So you're safe there. You're going to receive recipes. We currently have over 27,000 subscribers to our free email recipes. We have someone from every province and territory in Canada, every state in the United States, and people from over 170 countries around the world. To join our recipe club, please visit peakmarket.com. My guest this afternoon is Terry Karpyshin, General Manager at Prairie Theatre Exchange. Good morning, Terry.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm great. How close? I wasn't close in your last name. Let's get it.
That's a good Ukrainian name, Karpyshin.
Karpyshin.
Yes, I came from Ripley to Karpyshin, so it took a little bit of practice.
Ripley would have been easier for me.
I know.
Karpyshin. So, Terry, how are you today?
I'm great.
Yeah?
I'm great. Yeah, things are exciting over at Prairie Theatre Exchange. For those of you that don't know, we're located on the third floor of Portage Place in the downtown mall. We've been there since 1989, so it's great with its convenience and underground parking for our patrons. And we're a really busy place when the Jets are in town, but we love it.
1989. I was going to say 10 years ago or something. I remember you moving. It didn't seem like 1989. Wow.
I know.
Time flies.
I know. It does fly. Yeah. And because the mall was built in 1987 and we finished our facility in 89. And actually, we've been there so long, we had to do renovations a few years ago. So that does speak to our longevity in the mall.
So those that may not have been to the Prairie Theatre Exchange, it's a beautiful venue. I mean, it's very intimate. You feel like you're right on stage almost. Describe it.
Yeah. Well, I kind of like to the technical term is we're a thrust space, meaning the stage is thrust into the audience. But I like to see it as sort of arms hugging the stage, because when you look at it, it's almost like an open horseshoe, and we have audience members sitting on three sides, and it's great because the audience watches the plays, but the audience can also watch other audience members. So rather than having people in front of you and behind you, you've got people on sides of you. And I think it just speaks to the intimacy, and I think it really does enhance the experience of watching live theater, because it really is people. You can, when you're sitting on the side, you look through and you see the actors, and you look through and you see audience members. So it's quite a unique setting.
And Shelley and I have sat in several different spots throughout the theater, and I don't know there's a bad seat in there. They all seem to have great views.
Yeah, and I think also because the farthest row back is we're only 10 rows deep, so no matter where you sit, you're not really very far from the stage. In our old space, which is where the Red River Community College is on Princess Street, the center section was only 2 rows deep. And then we had side sections. So this is and also we only had 200 seats, so now we have 323. So it is. People really liked that configuration in the old space, and so we kept it when we moved into Portage Place.
So 323 seats you have now.
We do, yeah.
When you sell out of a show, are you tempted to put chairs on the floor?
No.
Get some more people in there. Come on, you are too.
The fire marshal will be after us. No.
Good point.
But what we can do is we usually close the show on Sunday, and the actors are engaged for that day. So if the show is selling well, we have a Sunday afternoon show. We can actually add a Sunday night show. And so that way, if there's any actors from out of town, they can still leave on Monday. But we can certainly stick in an extra show, and that's all perfectly legal.
Good. So you've already completed your first show, but how many shows would you have in a season?
We do 5 adult main stage shows, which you can buy on subscription. And we do a family holiday show at Christmas, which this year is called Mission Munch Possible for the family. That also tours for 10 weeks in January, February, and March throughout the province. And we have a Carol Shields Festival of New Works that takes place in May, usually. And that's all. We invite, often the ballet joins us, the contemporary dancers. We have a visual artist. It's a really exciting evening of new works. And I'd say it's one of the sort of unique highlights of the season.
The Mission Munch Possible, you said that tours?
Yes, it does. Yeah, we go. We've been as far north as Snow Lake. We go right down to the the North Dakota Manitoba border. We often go into Yorkton, Saskatchewan, and the company is in town touring schools for 3 or 4 weeks, and then they're out of town touring to rural elementary schools and communities. And often, the actors are great ambassadors for us, and often children will come up and say that they've never seen a play before, which is really touching because we so are fortunate here in Winnipeg to just hop on a bus or drive your car or walk, and you can see cultural activities and take part in them. But we forget out in rural Manitoba, that they don't have the opportunities that we do. So we're happy to take out the tour, and it's supported by the Manitoba Arts Council and MPI. So as I say, we're fortunate that we're able to do that.
Is this something you do every year? Or?
Yeah. Oh, we've been doing it for. Oh, we've been in business for over 40 years, so we've been doing it for like 35 years. So it's been a long time.
So does that help kids specifically? We're talking about the kids one here. Does that help them look at, well, obviously a play, as you said, they've never seen a play, but have you heard them say, I'd like to get into acting one day? Or have you heard any of those kind of stories from that?
Sure, yeah, there are some. Yeah, some kids are, it's sort of in their blood almost, you could say, right? And so yeah, they do ask the actors, about how to get into showbiz, and we do also through our theater school. Right. We have classes for ages 5 and up, and we also offer a bursary program, especially for the younger children, which we administer through the school system. So we encourage teachers, if there's children that are parents are financially challenged, to have the children apply through the bursary program, and they're able to come down and take classes at Prairie Theatre Exchange.
We're going to have to take a break, but I want to come back and talk about some of the shows that are coming up, because some of them they all sound very interesting, but a few of them I want to ask you about.
Sure.
We're speaking with Cherry, General Manager from the Prairie Theatre Exchange, and we'll be right back after this break for your CJOB weather update. Welcome back. I'm Larry McIntosh. Food and Friends Radio is on TV. Each radio show is filmed and will be posted on Mytoba.ca later today. So if you want to see the TV version of this or previous radio shows, please visit Mytoba.ca. You can also listen to an audio podcast of Food and Friends at SoundCloud.com and at the iTunes Store. So just do a search for Food and Friends with Larry at Mytoba.ca or SoundCloud.com or at the iTunes Store, and all the shows will come up for your listening or viewing pleasure. Now, it's very important for me to mention that Food and Friends is only available because of 680 CJOB and its advertisers. So please make sure you tune in here every Sunday afternoon at 1 or listen live at cjob.com. We're back with Cherry, General Manager of the Prairie Theatre Exchange. Before the break, we were talking about shows coming up, and we talked a little bit about Mission Munch Possible, which is the Christmas holiday show, I guess, right?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
So what's happening before that?
Well, we just closed Little Thing, Big Thing, which was a play from Dublin, and we were delighted that Donald O'Kelly, the playwright, was able to come to opening night. And it was just a sort of coincidence. He was going down to a festival in South Dakota, and when he told them he was coming to Winnipeg, or he had this play opening in Winnipeg, they kindly diverted him through Winnipeg so he could be here for opening night, and then he had to leave on the day after to go down for the festival. So that was great. So we were delighted to to perform his piece, Little Thing, Big Thing, with Jennifer from Winnipeg and Gordon from Toronto. So we just closed that on...
What are the odds of him going through Winnipeg at that time? Really, it was meant to be.
It was meant to be, yeah. So I'm glad it worked out, and he was happy to be here, and he was great. So, and it was interesting for him because even though he wrote the play, he also performed in it. He had never had someone else direct it before. And it was interesting for him on opening night to sit in the audience and actually see his play with him not being in it. And he thought Sharon Bezier from Winnipeg did a great job of directing, and he loved the set, which was all oil drums. It was quite a fascinating set. So that was a great way to start our season. Little mystery, little comedy. That was good.
And your other one is just opening up next week, I guess.
Next week, yeah. We've got Butcher, which... there's a lot of mystery around Butcher, and it's a mystery thriller. It's also opening, it's just opened in Montreal and Toronto, and we're having to tell our audience members not to divulge the story when they leave, because it will spoil it for others. But can I just read you a couple of quotes
Absolutely,
from what's happening from the Montreal Gazette? It's absorbing political thriller. The combination of hairpin plot twists, claustrophobic tension, and anguished mediations on justice versus more direct revenge has certainly struck a chord. Nicholas Billion's razor-sharp play serves up some bloody good entertainment, emphasis on bloody. So I think it's a new piece that was premiered in 2014 at the Playwrights Festival in Calgary at Alberta Theatre Projects. And we're delighted to be able to bring it to Winnipeg, and delighted to see it's getting so many productions across the country. It's because it's a mystery thriller. It's something a bit new. It's got a real twist to it, or several twists to it. Several twists to it. So I encourage people to come and enjoy, take in this production. I think they're going to be very
But now
surprised.
I want to know what happens.
I'm not telling you. I've read the script. I'm not telling you.
Well, you just can't
You
say.
have to come. You and
know.
Shelley will have to come.
I tell you. So
No
that,
hints.
that starts on November 19th and runs till December 6th.
Correct. Yeah.
And then you take a bit of a break, or you go right into your Mission Munch Impossible at that point, I guess, eh?
Yes, that's right. Yeah, and that runs from December 18th to January 3rd. We have mainly daytime performances, 1 and 3 o'clock. But there's also some 7 o'clock shows, which are pajama shows, which the kids can come in their pajamas, and we serve milk and cookies that has been sponsored by Safeway after the performance. So it's a little treat for the kids. And they're so cute because they bring their teddy bears, they bring their blankets, and occasionally I've seen some parents come in their flannel PJs and big fluffy slippers. So those are some great performances.
For 2017, I know that's a ways away. You should serve milk and carrots.
We could.
Yeah, I'm just
we
saying.
will have to talk about that.
So then you go into 3 new shows into the new year. Spin being the first one.
Yeah.
And what's that about?
That's it's about the sort of the emancipation of women. It's about Londonderry, who sort of took her bike and literally rode around the world. And it's a story based on her story. And the bicycle is actually used as a musical instrument. So I think that will be very interesting for people to come and see. A very upbeat show that is very different from Butcher.
We're going to talk a little bit about your background in the next half hour, but thinking about your career, is there a favorite play that really resonates out of all the years?
How long is the show? There are many. There are many shows that I've liked. I mean, included in that is Ian Ross's Farewell, Playing with Fire, which we just did this past year about Theo Fleury, The Secret Mask, a new play by Rick Chafe, A Doll's House, an adaptation of Ibsen's piece written by Bruce McManus, another Winnipegger. The list goes on, Larry. I mean,
I asked for one.
I know.
And you had like 4 off the top of your head there.
Yeah.
So some of them must, I shouldn't say that. Are some of them more successful with the audience versus what you thought they were going to be? Or how do you pick the plays?
Well, it's up to Bob Metcalf, our artistic director. That's his main job is to select the season for the year. But we also don't measure success just by box office, right? It's about some of the pieces are so like moving and engaging, and the feedback from our audience have so appreciated the piece and the work of the actors and the designers that success is defined in many different ways, about people's experiences, about actors achieving, a certain place in a role that they played, and also in the box office. So it's and sometimes, we do budgets, we carefully look at the shows, we see where they're placed, we see what else is in town, all those are considerations when we're doing a play. But and some do better than we thought. We've had new plays that have, like Social Studies by Trish Cooper from Winnipeg. It was a new play. We did a budget projection, and it more than doubled that box office. So you never know. Sometimes it just connects with people, and off it goes.
We're speaking with Terry, the general manager of the Prairie Theatre Exchange, and we'll be right back after this break. Welcome back to Food and Friends. I'm Murray McIntosh. I want to tell you about Peak in the Market's Recipe of the Day that will be featured in Monday's Winnipeg Free Press and at peakmarket.com. Monday's recipe will be grilled stuffed squash. This recipe sounds very easy and is very good. Grilled stuffed squash will be the featured recipe of the day on Monday in the Winnipeg Free Press and at peakmarket.com. And both the Winnipeg Free Press and our website have a new recipe every day, 7 days a week, so please check them out. You can never have enough veggies in your diet. I also want to remind you that Peak of the Market is on Twitter. Peak of the Market, it's at Peak of the Market for recipes, and we also talk about our Food and Friends guest updates. We have over 200,000 Twitter followers, and we'd love to have you follow us too. Again, we're at Peak of the Market, or you can follow me at Larry McIntosh, and McIntosh is McIntosh. We'll be right back with Cherry, the general manager at Prairie Theatre Exchange, after we take this break for your news, sports, and weather. We'll be right back. Welcome back. I'm Larry McIntosh. I want to remind you that Peak of the Market has a Facebook page. Please find us and like us on Facebook. We currently have over 90,000 likes. We'd love to have you join the group. We're updating our status regularly with news on our charity events and interesting veggie tidbits. So please find us and like us on Facebook. We're back with Cherry, the general manager at the Prairie Theatre Exchange. So let's talk about you.
Oh, no.
Let's talk about you. Are you from Manitoba originally?
Yes, I was born in Winnipeg. Yeah, my whole family was, yes.
All right. So, and what got you into the theater? What was your path from the time you left school? Is that always something you wanted to do?
Yeah, well, actually, I really wanted to be a ballet dancer, and I worked very hard at that. And it just didn't come to pass for, I think, between school and studying, and, I just wasn't able to sort of devote the time to it. And when I was out of school, I worked in an advertising firm of a very large company, and I really liked the diversity, of the work. So at the time, my dad worked for Chrysler Corporation. We were living in Toronto, and he wanted to come back to Winnipeg and start a business here. So we moved back, and I was doing some just part-time work, and I noticed the job offering at Mytoba Theatre Centre, actually.
Oh, okay.
And they were looking for a secretary for their theatre school. And so I applied, and I got the job. And partly, it was the diversity of the job that I really liked. No day was the same. And that began my career in the theatre. So even though I didn't pursue a dance career, I am in the performing arts, even though I don't appear on stage, which suits me just fine. But it's that, that's where it began, and that's where I've stayed for 50 years, actually.
50 years.
Yeah. I started in December 6th of 1965 at MTC. And I'll be retiring on December 31st of 2015. So you do the math, and it adds up to 50 years. So it's amazing. It's been amazing.
So this could be your very last time on Food and Friends as the general manager.
It could be. Yes, it could.
I have a feeling you'll probably be doing something else. Are you just going to totally retire?
Well, I'd certainly be interested in consultancy work,
Right.
But I also sit on 3 boards.
Oh, okay.
So, that'll keep me partly busy. And then I don't know, it's, like people say, what are you going to do when you retire? And I said, well, it's like a new job. You sort of have an idea of what it's going to be like, but you won't really know until you actually do it. So we could discuss it in maybe February, March, and I'll let you know how I'm doing.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm a ways from being able to afford to retire, but one day, I kind of say the first couple months, it'd be nice just to be able to sleep in or watch TV, but I probably would need something else. Maybe not a full-time thing, but maybe a consultant thing. Maybe that's a good idea.
So I'll keep you posted.
Now, you've been involved in theater across Canada. I think I read somewhere that you're involved in a theater in Whitehorse and in Nova Scotia, mentoring them, or what was that about?
Well, the Canada Council had a program called the Flying Squad, and the Canada Council is our federal funding body for the arts. And so what they would do, the Flying Squad program asks a sort of a experienced general manager, for example, to go and assist another company that's either going through change or is emerging and needs some, some expertise and advice. So I was invited to go up to Nakai Theatre up in Whitehorse, and I did a mentoring project with them, both with the board and with the staff, and that was great. I'd never been to Whitehorse before, so the opportunity to go there was pretty fascinating. But also to work with the board and the staff was really interesting to see too how it's different, say, from, because it's very isolated, and they've got no one else to sort of chat with or work with, right? So it was great to be able to go up and and share that experience. And I've actually kept in contact with them over the years. So that was great. And then I was out in Antigonish, Nova Scotia, and same thing, new general manager. So what they did is they came in and mentored with me at Prairie Theatre Exchange for a week, and then I went out and spent time with them. So it's great to be able to share the skills and to help others out. So that I enjoy doing that kind of work. That's great.
So did you ever think about leaving Winnipeg? Going somewhere else to pursue your career?
Actually, no. It's funny. Even when my dad was transferred out of Winnipeg, we all felt Winnipeg was home. And I married here. I'm married a Winnipegger, and our daughter was born here. But I'm a true Winnipeg fan, and I think it's a great city. I think we have so much here for a smaller city, and I love the community, and I love the size of it. So I'm quite happy here. Yeah, we quite like it. So yeah, I think this is our home. Even though I'm retiring, we've got no plans to move elsewhere.
Fabulous. So looking back over and you said 50 years, which is hard to believe, but looking back over your 50 years, is there any memories that come up that you want to share with us?
Wow. Memories. I think one of them I just thought of was that little did I know when I started at Manitoba Theatre Centre back in December of 1965 that I'd be thanking my peers and being so honored and privileged to work in this business 50 years later. I was delighted to be there, but who thinks that when they start a job, 50 years later, they'll be saying goodbye to that job, so
Absolutely.
That's been really special to me, and I can't think of another place I'd rather be.
And that says a lot about the people you work with and the community, as you talked about, and the fact that you've been doing it so many years and bringing theater culture to so many people. You think about the number of people who have been to your theater over the years. It's unbelievable.
It is. Yeah, it really is.
Did you ever figure out how many you come? Quick math.
Quick math? God. Well,
I'm kidding.
I know. Wait, I've been working on grants. I might have a number in my head. Yeah, we do bring in we reach about 50,000 people a year through the work that we do, including the tour.
50,000? See, I would not have guessed that number.
Yeah, well, when you do the tour and the kids show and, the plays that we do, it's pretty extraordinary. Yeah.
Isn't that neat that you've had an influence on so many Manitobans, and obviously you've helped people outside the province, but Manitobans specifically, you've had a lot of influence on generations growing up that, as you said, have gone to the theater for the first time, one of your plays.
Yeah, no, it's been exciting for sure. Yeah.
Are you having second thoughts about retiring?
Absolutely not. The hardest part for me is I haven't had second thoughts about that, but I'm definitely going to miss the people, right? Because we are a people business. We deal in a live environment, and so that's the part that's going to be the hardest. But hey, opening night of Spin on January the 14th, that's going to be yeah, so glad.
And enjoying it in a different way. We're speaking with Cherry, the general manager of the Prairie Theatre Exchange, and we'll be right back after this break. Welcome back. I'm Larry McIntosh. I just want to tell you that we only have a few weeks left, 3 weeks to be exactly left, in the Farm to School Manitoba Healthy Choice fundraiser. See, I got too far ahead in my notes there. Unfortunately, it ends on December 9th. So this fundraiser is open to any Manitoba school or daycare anywhere in the province of Manitoba. And the great thing about this fundraiser is the school or daycare keeps half the selling price. So students sell bundles of vegetables for $10 or $20, but they keep half that price for whatever they're raising money for, whether that's a band trip or new equipment, whatever it is. So a 50% profit. And the great thing about it, it's also healthy. Last year, this fundraiser raised over $410,000 for Manitoba schools and daycares, and that's what they kept, $410,000. And I want to thank everybody who participated in the fundraiser this year. Still got 3 weeks to go, so there's still time to participate. If you're interested in more information, go to farmtoschool.ca. We're back with Cherry, the general manager at Prairie Theatre Exchange. We were just talking off air during the break that we didn't talk that much about the PTE theater and film school, right? You have that as well. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. Well, it's a recreational program, and we take children as young as 5, and we go right up through seniors. And there's a diversity of classes. One of the new classes we have this year, we've actually tied into Mission Munch Possible, and it's called Munch Upon a Time. So children that are really, have enjoyed the Munch performance can actually sign up for classes, and it'll all be themed around Munch and the Robert Munch story. So I encourage children and parents to think about that come the new year. We have a very strong adult program. They take directing classes. There's film classes. There's musical theater classes for junior school. The teen program as well as the adult program, and there's script reading, and there's just a voice classes, voiceover if you're interested in doing radio. So we have qualified teachers that teach all the classes, and students will come back again and again and just enjoy sort of it's like going and taking, you want to go to cooking school, so come and take some theater and have some fun, and there's a lot of good relationships that are built, and people enjoy having a really good time. We had tap dancing classes this past year as well.
Wow.
So yeah.
So you're saying I should take a course on learn how to do a show, a radio show? Yeah.
Or you could give the show. Give the class.
No, I could not give the class because you don't teach people to stumble over their words. That's not what you want to do, like I do sometimes.
Yeah.
So that's available. Information is available on your website.
On the
I assume?
website, yep, absolutely, yep. www.pteschool.ca. Yeah.
And if you didn't catch that, I'm sure you can Google it or Bing it or whatever, and it'll come up. So let's talk about the rest of the season. We talked about Butcher, that's starting shortly. And Spins coming up after that. What else is going on?
Well, we've got Seeds by Annabelle Sutar. It's actually like verbatim theater, i.e., what Annabelle has done is she's based it on the real case of Percy Schmeiser, the Saskatchewan farmer, and Monsanto, who had that legal case over seeds that had blown onto his farmland.
Right.
So Annabelle spent hours going through all the tapes and transcribing and putting it into like a play format. That's coming to us from Port of Parole company in Montreal. So we're very much looking forward to seeing that. That's the one. It has 7 actors in it, and I think it's just going to be a really interesting sort of discussion. There's going to be a panel as well, and I think people will really enjoy sort of the perspective, of the two sides. Then we close with Marriage, a demolition in 2 acts. It's
a
about
demolition in 2 acts.
A demolition in 2 acts. An older couple, a middle-aged couple, is renovating their kitchen, and things aren't going very well. And it's a comedy written by Rick Chafe from Winnipeg, and they have a young designer and construction sort of project manager that come in, and I think they end up fixing the marriage more than they actually do the reconstructing of the kitchen. So I think that's going to be a great way to end the season. Yeah. That
sounds like a fun one.
Yeah, I think so.
I've known many couples that have built homes together or done major renovations together. It does test, the marriage. So I could see this.
Yeah. So I think a lot of people are going to relate. So and I think it is a great way to end the season. It's an all Winnipeg cast, which is great. So we're happy to bring that one to us as well.
So when you choose the plays, and you do this obviously in advance, ways in advance, are they all Canadian, or are you just looking for what's the criteria of what comes up with it?
Well, our mandate is really a focus on Canadian works and also on new play works. So we've done like 345 plays, and 145 of them have been new plays. So we really are adhering to our mandate. But Bob does look for Canadian works. We do live in Canada. We want to invest our Canadian artists. So, but it's a lot of work for him. He can read maybe 40 scripts, trying to pull a 5-play season together. And it's just trying to pull together the scripts that, fit the mandate of PTE, but also that fit the budget of PTE, which is a real challenge. So he's already working on that for 16-17, which doesn't open until October of 2016. So he's already doing that work.
And you're saying that this one play has 7 actors in it, and some
Mhm.
plays have 4 actors in it. That's obviously quite a difference in a budget purpose as well, I would assume.
Absolutely. Because also you have to consider the costumes. It's not just hiring the actor,
Right.
but does an actor have 2 or 3 costume changes? Does the play take place in different locations? And not, doesn't necessarily mean if you have more actors, there's different locations, but it then is the creativity of the director and the set and costume designer to come up with how they want that to happen. Like in Little Thing, Big Thing, it was all oil drums because part of it was based around an oil company, and a drum became a car, and and they became climbing vehicles for them. So it's about that, just having that discussion with the director and the designers to come out with what will really work here. What will fit the stage? What can we do and to turn the set around in a short period of time? How many people will it take to do that? It's fairly complicated. It's
Yeah,
fairly
no,
complicated.
I can only imagine.
Yeah, there's lots of strings that we have to pull together.
We're speaking with Cherry from the PTE, or Prairie Theatre Exchange. We'll be right back after this break. Welcome back to Food and Friends. My guest today has been Cherry, the general manager of the Prairie Theatre Exchange. Now, this has been a lot of fun. I mean, we've known each other for however many years, and we've been to PTE, Shelley and I, many times. And you are retiring, but you're not going to be far away, and you're not retiring for a while. So there's lots of things coming up. The theater they can go to. What about the season tickets? Now, you've already had your first play, so...
Yeah, people can still buy season tickets. We have 4-play packages and 3-play packages,
Okay.
so I encourage you to either go on the website or call our box office, and you can certainly purchase those. There's single tickets available, and the tickets for Munch, I think, are one of the best deals in town. You can buy a family 4-pack for $46, inclusive of all taxes. So the 4 can be made up of 2 kids and 2 adults, or 3 kids and 1 adult. It doesn't matter to us. So I encourage people to look at that over the holiday season.
And if you've never been to the Prairie Theatre Exchange, buy a ticket, check it out. You'll enjoy it. It's great theater. Thank you very much for being on Food and Friends.
Thank you, Larry.
Take care, everybody, and please don't forget to eat your veggies.